All right, so we are coming up to one of the most anticipated parts of why anyone signs up to take law, and that is learning how to debate. And debating is going to be a pretty a major part and requirement for how we're going to wrap up this course. Now, I'm sure a lot of you, your families, will say that you are experts when it comes to arguing, but there is some real finite differences between arguing versus debating. And so that's what the focus is going to be today of how and the tips and strategies of an effective debater. So let's get started. To begin, there are many different ways to structure a debate, and there are also many different strategies in how to participate in debates. And today we're going to be looking at some of these strategies to help you get you set up for the upcoming debate in the class. Now, to begin, you want to have a series of do's and don'ts when it comes to debating. To start, don't always let your emotions get the better of you, getting angry, frustrated, nervous, upset, or even breaking down in a way will always affect how others will perceive your position. You definitely want to remain calm, speak clearly, speak in a rational, calm voice. Remember people that rarely decide what side of a formal debate they will argue, so you may not be defending your own point of view. So by doing that and knowing that, you don't always want to attack their opponent. Just attack their point of view, because in debates you don't know which side you're on. It's usually randomly drawn. You need to prepare for both sides. And remember, as I just said, with debaters, you don't know what side you're on. You're either going to be for it or against it. And it's important to know and make sure that the speaker in the debate must have the resolution being debated as clearly and stately defined. Don't let your opponent sidetrack you with irrelevant points. Stay on topic, or in Star Wars, stay on target. But make sure you speak clearly. And for general rule of thumb when it comes to public speaking is to speak half the speed that you normally would do when you're just talking with your friends. When you're debating, don't attack your opponents. Do not make it personal. However, do stick to your plan, research points of view. Stick to your research. Stick to your plan. Some tips is using cue cards that can help a debater to stay focused. But sometimes you don't need them. But they do provide that psychological and emotional support that's there if you need it. And when you're debating, speak to the audience or speak to the moderator. It depends on how it is set up. For our course, you'll be having an audience, but you will be speaking to the moderator, which is me. Make sure you are preparing the informed position. Being proven wrong is not to mention damaging, it is also very embarrassing, and you definitely want to avoid it. So do thoroughly research your topic and position, and do the best you can to start squashing the rebuttal as well as research with well-designed position. However, do not simply make up informations. Don't go down the fake news kind of path. But you want to make sure to be an exciting speaker. Be animated, or monotone, or dry speaking, but do not bore your audience. That's not bad to win them over, though. But debating is also equal parts of substance and presentation. So you definitely don't want to make it boring. But not saying sources or not backing up statements can lead to a heavy damaging rebuttal from your opponents, which could very well weaken your own point of view, your position, and the research and preparation that had gone in before it. Make sure to use humor or maybe some anecdotes in your speaking. But using examples can help illustrate your position and use an argument to set a precedence. Stories or jokes that are appropriate can also be very involving and can really help to reinforce your position when used properly. But stories, humor, anecdotes can also severely weaken your position. It's all about the timing and when you choose it. But remember, it's important that this is a timed event. There is a timer. The sheet you have will give you the exact breakdown to minute or seconds of each stage of the debate. There will be no exceptions to this. So plan accordingly. Do be aware of the time restraints. As a tip, practice your opening speech. Know what it feels like to speak for the long amount of time. Speaking too long or too little will weaken your position. Knowing and being ready for time restraints will make you appear better organized for your debate. It will also make you appear less nervous and help you feel less nervous about your public speaking. But don't try to juggle too many points of view at once. Stay on target. One thing at a time. Keep what is logical. As a tip, practice and plan your speaking. This will help relieve any sort of nervousness. However, do not use any inappropriate language or gestures. People will ignore the information if it is presented in an inappropriate manner. And remember, any argument that you do not address in rebuttal will be left in the memory of the others and the audience and the opponents who stated it. In order to be most effective, you need to be strong, solid points of your point of view, but you also need to take part and rebut your opponent's points of view. Likewise, any rebuttal from your opponents that you do not address will be remembered by the audience, no matter whatever else goes on. They will remember it. Having a strategy worked out ahead of time will definitely help you out. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Do be aware of what your partner's plans are. Don't work alone and risk being redundant. Work as a team in preparing your debate. It is good to recycle information in your closing speech. Summarize, paraphrase it. As a tip, the closing speaker should sum up all the relevant points, all the relevant arguments and rebuttals without introducing any new information. If you follow these tips and suggestions, you should have a successful debate.